Welcome to Krerlingzy Boss in Rotterdam, where I did the parkrun on Saturday.
Because I 250 version.
Yeah, 250th Rotterdam Parkrun today. Okay, and we're off. Okay, fun facts about the start here. Number one, they use some kind of pancake chef to denote the start line. I didn't manage to get much of a view of him. And number two, they say 3, 2, 1, parkrun, which I thought was a good bit of fun.
I started very early up the field here.
So yeah, this is the issue here. I started very, very early up the field. I was worried about getting caught at the back and struggling. I know I'm in reasonable shape at the moment, so I thought it was worth a try at a good run. But look at all these people. They're all going a decent bit faster than me. And I get overtaken by quite a few people here. So it wasn't ideal. We ended up with a slightly too fast start. And we pay for it a little bit later. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I just need to learn to run a bit faster. So, yeah, we're in Rotterdam. I'm here for TwitchCon. So I happen to think it would be a good idea to do the run at the same time, particularly as a convention, eating bad food all weekend. Good to do some exercise too. And this is a nice park, a nice lake to the eastern side of Rotterdam centre. And it was about 10 minutes on a line bike from my hotel, so that worked out really well. It's nice to do some parkrun tourism in other countries. It is, as you can see, a one-lap course. It's also really flat. I haven't put the heights on the screen, but the heights range from -5 meters to 5 meters, if that, and probably that's just GPS inaccuracy showing that. So really no hills to speak of. I'll talk to you when we're going. I feel like it does go slightly up on the way out and maybe slightly down on the way back. I'm guessing that the bit by the lake is probably the lowest point, which is where we are now. So this is a nice restaurant we go past with the lovely pointy roofs. It was a really nice day. It was 19 degrees Celsius, which I'm sure is something in Fahrenheit. So maybe slightly hot. It's still a little bit humid, but not as bad as the weather had been previously this week. But maybe might have been knocking my speed just a tiny little bit. This guy comes past with a pushchair. He's fast. Get used to watching people go past me. So this is the short out and back section, and in a minute we take a right turn and we're onto the lap. We literally just run one lap after this. So this first bit is in the lake, by the lake, all very nice. You can see some boats and you can see some boardwalk and various bits and bobs. And we take the right turn here and we end up in the woods. As I said at exactly the same time. Perfect. So hopefully the camera footage is okay. I've been having a few problems. It's supposed to do horizon leveling, but just recently it's been hanging to one side or the other, particularly when it's on my head. But I thought I did a pretty reasonable job. Obviously this is a 9 AM start, but I'd only arrived in Rotterdam on the Eurostar the day before. So this was in fact an 8 AM start for me, and I'd had to get up in the hotel. So it was early going. My view was we speak English to the people. They did the parkrun rules and introduction in English, and I feel like most people in the Netherlands can speak better English than I can. So that's what I went for, given that I knew about 2 or 3 words in Dutch. Not sure if it's the right decision. So yeah, as I say, people coming past me a lot, very different from how I normally run these runs. Usually people are coming, I'm going past people because I start a little bit slow. It is a bit bouncy with the footage here in the middle. That's just because it's so dark in the trees, the camera's struggling to work out where it's supposed to be for the stabilization. This only lasts a couple of minutes and we'll stop in a second. But yeah, I think really nice this run through the trees. I'm very much in favour of these one-lap courses, particularly when you go to a park run that you're not going to do very often, because you don't end up having to do 2 laps. It's just like everything is new and different, and you can run your way around and learn something all the way. I don't know. It seems to be nice to just do a one-lap course. it plays mind games with me when it's 3 laps and stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm already tired. I only done 1 lap and I've got 2 to go and all this other stuff. So that's how I feel about it. So this basically just follows some tracks around the park. When I looked at the map, I saw there's loads of different tracks around the park, and this kind of weaves its way through. But it's difficult to get lost on this one. It did feel like just going straight forward at every turn, although I suspect people are actually directing me more so than I think. So here we go, first kilometre, 4:53, something like that. Really good. Part rate 155. I say it's always bad when it goes over 160. But it does feel like, as I say, very slightly uphill on this section. I didn't mind that. But it was hard work. And we're into some more sunny bits. As I say, when the sun was out, I could feel it. And it did feel quite warm. So I try to chase these guys along a little bit. And try and kind of feel like I'm doing about the right pace here. I stay with some of them. I overtake others. But let's face it, I was exhausted. So one of the things that was interesting about the Dutch parkrun is it seemed to have a bit more sponsorship than the UK one, certainly in terms of outwardly facing. This was a 250th parkrun, and they were giving away prizes to people who came in particular places. Spoiler alert, I didn't get one. I can't remember if there's a raffle as well, but there was definitely some cakes. But it seems that Brooks, I think it's a brand of running shoes, might sponsor parkrun in the West... in the Netherlands, in the West Midlands, in the Netherlands. So I think they were giving away a couple of free pairs of shoes and stuff. And there's quite a lot of organisation at the end there. Also, hilariously, 1 million bikes. I'm used to being the only person who cycles to parkrun when I go to Perry Hall and what have you, or maybe there's 2 or 3 of us. There were just 20 or 30 bikes strewn on the floor. I'd come by line bike. I was really trying to squeeze things in, so I was going to TwitchCon, which is about 10 kilometers from here. So I need to get to the keynote that started at 10:30, hoping that I would finish this at 9:30. And so I had to run to the end and then run to grab a line bike, ride it back to the hotel, shower and change, and then get riding again and get to TwitchCon in time for 10:30. The spoiler alert is I just about did. It wasn't too bad. But I did end up queuing outside, so I did miss like the first maybe 30 seconds of the keynote, but I thought I did quite well to turn that round. The only problem was I was exhausted by the end of this, and I was like, okay, I've got to look around the show now, and I was just like, I just want to sleep. More people coming past me. I was just following this guy along. It felt about right. So yeah, come up to kind of the mile marker here, and you can see we are below 8-minute miles, which I feel like is really good. I wondered whether I'd do a particularly fast one here, but it's been half term, we haven't had great food and what have you, so I don't feel like I've kept my fitness streak up. In this boiling hot weather we've had in the UK, I managed to do 3 5k runs this week, but all of them were slow. So this is again the point that I hit close to 160 heart rate. So at any point from this, I'm starting to struggle, really. And at this point as well, I feel like I was already looking out for, surely we're about halfway now. It's not going to be too far, is it? But I was wrong. I was big style wrong. But I was expecting it to come up. I can't remember how many people passed me, just so many. I did wonder whether I should put it on the screen. I don't like starting fast and slowing down. It does seem to get you a reasonable time, but it really shows up when you're struggling because people just come streaming past you and it's a bit depressing. I did well to stay with this guy, actually, I think. Yeah, not too bad. You'll see when I start to struggle properly a little bit later. I feel like I hit one of these nettles at some point, which is also showing that perhaps I was struggling a bit if I'm wobbling back and forth. But yeah, what a beautiful run. I say we had through the trees to start with, and then this bit, just I guess in a little bit of a field or what have you. That we could just continue on, and then as we turn in a minute, we come out onto the lakeside, and it's looking really nice. Finally decided to overtake that guy. Well, I was trying to kind of measure my pace, and to be fair, I wasn't really following my heart rate, but it does look like I was just about managing that at this point. if I can keep my heart rate about 160, which makes me feel like I know my heart rate in my mind well enough. I know when I'm struggling too much, but you can hear me struggling away. But I had very little sleep and I had an exhausting day on the Eurostar the day before, so fair enough that we struggled a little bit here, I think. So there we go. I think it was like 9:38 for the second kilometre, and another person comes trundling past me as we continue what seems like a really, really steep hill, but I'm sure it's not. So as usual, we say thank you to all the volunteers. There were loads today and lots of other people looking on. Unfortunately, we don't know how to say thank you in Dutch, but perhaps I should learn that for next time I come. So this was the second time I did this run. Actually, I did it 12 months ago. TwitchCon had been in Rotterdam for 3 years. I've come last year and this year. So I was trying to beat 25:05. I feel like I remember last year being quite disappointed with 25:05. It felt like a course where I could easily make 25 minutes. Here goes another one past me. Gosh, I'm starting to struggle. Here we go, 160. It's not too bad to have hit 160 at this point. 161. But yeah, it felt like we're on course for a reasonable time. And then this final little bit through the woods. So the camera just bounces a little bit through here. It has actually straightened up. I don't really know how horizon leveling works. I suspect it's just that it's so bouncy when it's on my head, it confuses the camera a little bit. I feel like the picture comes out quite stable. I'm really enjoying what a beautiful day it is, to be honest. So next week, hopefully we'll be back at Perry Hall. And it'll be a little bit easier than this. We're back with the familiar runs. But really pleased to do one abroad. And nice to see that Parkrun is abroad. I went to Paris a few years ago, and I think they'd stopped doing the ones in France for some kind of safety reason. So it was good to go abroad and do something that's familiar. Particularly as they said a lot of the announcements in English. But certainly makes a little bit more of your holiday when you can do a little bit of a run as well. Starting to struggle here. Definitely felt uphill. I'm sure it wasn't. And there we go. So it's sort of saying kind of 12:05-ish for halfway there. My phone marked the halfway point more like at this tree over here, I think. There it is, yeah. So I think that's sort of 12:18, 12:19, something like that. And as you can see, this is kind of the turning point. We run across a bit of a field here towards the lake. And maybe we run past this guy. That's exciting. And I think this will be your best view across the lake when we get to here, and then we take the turn at the end. Oh, struggling rad. I can hear it. Look at it. What would it say? This was the thing. My heart rate had been fine, and then it spiked to 165 really quickly there. Which proves, I think, that last bit had been up a hill. And probably proves I'm just putting out just a little bit more effort here than I wanted to be. Sadly, I didn't get time to do a recorded introduction, and I didn't get time to do the fit check. I was trying to carry as little stuff with me as possible. Again, because I had a busy day ahead of me. And then this is the lake. I don't think the lake is called Kralingse Bos, because Bos, I think, means woods. But maybe it's the Lake of the Woods. I don't know. I really wish I wasn't putting on the internet these questions. I don't really know the language at all.
Good morning.
There we go. I politely said good morning to everyone that I could. And here you go, one of your famous Dutch cycle tracks next to you. Even in parks like this, the bikes are separated from the people.
Sorry, it's English.
I'm assuming that guy said, I love your sunglasses, they're the best ever. But the way he kind of sticks with me, I wonder if he actually said, you should keep it going. Because he comes ahead here and he provides me quite a nice pacer for a reasonable length of time. The fact that he looks like he's jogging compared to me that's absolutely broken, probably just tells you everything that you need to know about how I was feeling in this race, to be honest. This side was a bit more exposed to the sun. So 14:30 for 3K. It's pretty good. I'm very pleased with that. We've done some good runs. I'd still like to get below 24 this season, but I'd tell you for nothing that doesn't happen today. Yeah, these noises suggest that I'm really struggling. And particularly, you come around this corner, and the camera apparently goes really to a right angle there. This is suddenly a very long straight. These people here are doing yoga? Some kind of exercise in the park first thing in the morning. In many ways, I'd have preferred to be doing that. It's interesting now to look back and see how high my heart rate came along here. Oh, Rad gives us a little view of the lake there. Oh, that's because we're pretty much on the other side of the lake here. So I was looking over to where the finish line is. I think it's a mistake, actually, because it just shows you just quite how far away it is until we get to the finish. I think it's better just to focus forward. But I think this is slightly downhill, but it's I say in the sense of like 1 meter height difference. But yeah, this big long straight was quite frustrating for me. I tried so hard to keep with this guy, but it just wasn't going to happen. I think this is the lady that comes by and she kind of runs with him. They kind of keep it going, and for a moment we're in a bit of a group. But I'm on final sprint pace here. Rather than third kilometre, I could have done with taking a little bit slower. There's someone parked their car on the course. Hello. But definitely recommend visiting this one. It's good for a good time. It's interesting with the woods and the fields and the lake and everything. And super flat, you know. Also, they seem very friendly and they spoke English, which was really helpful to me. Only problem was a bit warm, and again another section here where we were really had the sun beating down on us. It was just about okay, but as exhausted as I was, I didn't need this. In my mind, I knew as we turned this corner here, we were starting to get towards the end. That isn't something that I really wanted to know, and you'll see why. Because I'd done so well to stick with these guys. But they eventually beat me by maybe 20 or 30 seconds, I would say. I think they come like about 5 places above me. I don't want to moan the whole way, but it is what it is. It's a very different feel when you start last, when you start early and then fall backwards. So yeah, they've started to go. I started to puff here. And then before you know it, they're far, far ahead. We're coming up to this sharp left turn. There's a little boardwalk that runs out from this left turn that you can walk round. I think it's for fishing or something. Really nice. I did wonder whether the run would use it. But it takes you out into the lake. Oh, this is it. This guy comes past. And he kind of breaks the elastic between me and them. And then, yeah, I'm never getting back. Not his fault at all, of course. But yeah, as you just come to this corner, you'll just be able to hopefully spot the little wooden boardwalk that you can walk out on. Kind of, just in the background there. Okay, bye, friends. Now, this felt like it was really close to the finish, and it's just not. This feels like maybe it's 800 meters to the end, maybe it's 600 meters to the end, something like that, but it really is just not. So, this last This last kilometre, it's time for me to struggle, really. And see how we can keep going. Right, the measurement there is 1926. I guess that's about right. I wouldn't be surprised if my final kilometre is the slowest one, if this was correctly calculated. I just pull it off my watch, which might be pulling it off my phone, and my phone's in my pocket. That's why we lose the heart rate for a second here. I think it was just under those trees while it finds the numbers again. There we go. But yeah, I'm into regular heavy breathing at this point. I don't know what to do. Do you want to listen to me puffed out? I feel like I should play a song next to it. But that's interesting that we turn into 170 there, heart rate. We're definitely in the heart rates that I usually use at the sprint finish here, when I still got a good 800 meters to go. Maybe even 900. I think at some point here I decided just to maybe slow it slightly, just so we would definitely make it. Say those guys that were right next to me are off. And then you can see the boardwalk on the right here. Just this little glimpse through the grass. They've always had nice wet weather here as well, and then the sun and the grass has grown really big. And there you go, you can see the people walking out and doing their fishing. I say, really nice, recommended place to come, I think. Rotterdam itself is just a really nice city. I spent 3 days there, and I cycled many kilometres on line bikes, on lovely cycle tracks, across beautiful rivers, etc. It's amazing. At this point, I wasn't thinking anything about that. So here we go, that's the end of the loop section, and now you've seen all this before, but just in the other direction. So we come past this nice hotel. The problem here is the finishing sprint is deceptively long. You want to think that you could speed up and sprint the whole of this sprint, but it just doesn't quite work out that way. It's just a bit too long, and you've got to measure your effort. Look how pretty. What a nice place. There you can see the tall buildings on the top right there, just in the centre of town. Right, checking his watch. Whenever it's like the image slightly zooms to the left there, it's me checking my watch out. Just to see if we've nearly finished, you know. Another person comes by. This is always like, Brad, you timed it wrong. You could have caught up with these people. Didn't need to be this way. I had a little bit of an oopsie here about how I was going to get past this dog. And another one comes past. How many more overtake me? I think maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, we just about managed to get through. I was trying to work out the best way to do this. And here we are, finally, on the finishing straight. Go on, Rad. Sprint as best you can. My thought was I'd stay with this lady and sprint past her at the end. Watch what happens. At this point, it feels like that might happen, and I'm catching back up. But you watch what goes on. Here we go, Rad. Sprint down the end here. And as I start to puff, she starts to get away. And then it was like, okay, well, I will just try and avoid getting overtaken by anyone else. We do come past this red person here, but I think they may not have been in the same race as we were. Desperately trying to look for the finish line. Where is it? It's still quite a way to go. Maybe 200 meters still to go. And just watch my heart rate spike here. 177. Come on, Rad. You can just see the Brook stand and everything on the left there, of where they put up all their adverts and stuff. Here we go. Time to finish. Oh, no one else does come past me. I did wonder about overtaking this guy, and I thought probably best just to follow him in. Come on, Rad. Last little bit. What's the time going to be? Heart rate highest this year.
Nearly there.
So yeah, I could probably have cut a second off, but fair.
Thank you.
24:20, guys, at Rotterdam Parkrun. Exhausted. See you next week.